So we're on the outside. The actual drops off of these is that's a porch, has nothing to do with it, even though the water is just pouring right there and will likely damage the foundation of that later. Has nothing to do with the actual living space back there. Walking on around, I done checked that side over there. It's got gutters, downspouts, everything's great that way. Gutter and downspout here. It is easily a free flow away from the side. Should it be farther from the side? Yes, it should. But we got a downspout here coming down, and then the mulch that's in there that's broken up, water will come down these rocks. It should drain out. Very little water should get in there, and I saw very little water on that top side, maybe a little bit, but that's that's likely from the water from this area right here, where we did see, and on the other side of this porch we did see water where it was coming through, and it's pretty obvious to see that water, it's got a lot of yard going that way, and it should be dropping off. But there's probably a spot right in here that stays wet, puddles right in here. There's a lot of sand out here where we're at. We're in Broadway. Should drain out fast. As you can see, it's just a sandy land. Over here on this side, I noticed that there was a lot of water in this area over here, and it's easy to see why. There's no fall from the foundation back this way to make the surface water run off to get it back this way. This side up here where I'm standing at is easily, well, if you follow that brick line right there around, it turns into over a brick. It's 2.5 inches, 3 inches lower in that whole entire area right there than what it is out here. So that water's just filtering right down through the sand and going underneath the foundation in that area right there. That needs raked out, the mulch raked out, and clay put in there, and then the mulch thrown back on it so that it forces the water to come farther away from this area. And we got a drain right here that obviously puddles in this area right here. But on this side, you got the let's see what I can find under here. Yeah, there's a little bit of drop there from, you see the brick line starts off, comes down here. It's got drop away from that corner, but as it goes up that other side, and that downspout probably spits water out of it too, right there in that corner, being that it's not sealed and it's at an angle instead of up and down. So in a big rain, that probably spits water out a little bit. Either way, it goes to there and likely runs right back down the side of it. Goes out to there and then just runs back down the side as it puddles in this mulch right here, going back to that spot right there, which you saw in the video where that tongue is sitting right there, and the area 10-15 foot back in that whole area. So a little bit of water intrusion. It wasn't straight mud in there, but it ain't rained in days too. But it's mind-boggling about the no plastic. I mean, they sealed the vents and sealed the vents with no vapor barrier, no consistent legal vapor barrier, and still sealed the vents up. And anytime you seal one up, you become a slave to that dehumidifier, because it is not, a dehumidifier is not code. It's not code. They don't go together. Closing it up and putting a dehumidifier in it, that is a dehumidifier is great as a bonus, but it is not a code recognized. It would fail an inspection. If they would have went and got an inspection, it would fail an inspection, because the law is very clear. The code is very clear. You must have air from the ducts blowing into a encapsulation, and then a vent out here on the outside. Either the code says it has to go back into the house, but every code officer will code whatever you want to call them, will usually let it pass. Being a vent in the house, opened up from the trunk line, opened, and egress for that air, either by dryer vents, usually put into one of these vents, one of them that's high enough to be legal. These really ain't legal with the stuff piled up so close to the top of them, but yep, a dryer vent, just the vent. No, right here in this one where it's high in the back. Open up a trunk line on the other end, based on the cubic area of the crawl space. With an encapsulation, the crawl space is supposed to become an empty, conditioned area, so that ground gases don't build up, so that moisture doesn't build up. It's there's codes for a reason, and this one ain't even close. None of them ever are. I have not seen a legal encapsulation